Hey everyone. So today I want to talk with you about uncertainty. So when we're thinking about growing, when we're thinking about recovering, healing those hurts, coming back from those lows of life, one of the most tricky things that we can experience is uncertainty, right? So I know my life isn't comfortable. I know things aren't going the way I want them to go, but I am not sure where to go. I'm not sure what my purpose is. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure, right? I'm uncertain. So today I want to give you four things that you can do to start to consider the direction that you need to be taking. Okay, so the first thing is to really make sure that you have quite a bit of quiet time. So no matter if you're asking God for a specific answer to a prayer, God, what should I do about this job offer? What should I do about this family member or this relationship? Whether it be a specific answer to a specific prayer, or even if it's just, God, I just need direction in my life in general, make sure that you've got some quiet time. So God is a gentleman, right? God speaks through his spirit. God does not, kick down doors and scream in our face, nothing like that. And so a lot of times God is talking, right? And his spirit is talking to us very clearly. We simply are not in a position to be listening. So we've got so much busyness, so much stuff happening in our world. We don't have any quiet time, right? And so I want you first to think about making sure that you've got some quiet time, not just like at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, but throughout the day, whenever you need it, as much as possible. We have so much noise. We've got YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. We've got, cable TV. We've got podcasts and the radio and just all kinds of stuff to just fill every moment of our day. And really, we need to be making sure that we're back to basics, which is really having that quiet time with God. So in that time, he can nudge you. He can really allow you to hear what his spirit is telling you. But if you don't make room for him, then how can he talk with you? The same way that you're listening to this video now. If you didn't make the time to click it, how could you hear what I have to say, right? I'd still be here talking. You just wouldn't be able to hear it because you wouldn't have tuned in. So make sure you've got plenty of quiet time so that you can really connect with God and pray to him and see what it is that he has for you. The other thing, a caveat to that, is make sure that you're listening. So a lot of times we say, I pray to God, I keep asking him this, I'm asking, and he's not answering, right? God doesn't play hide and seek with us. He has no investment in toying with us in any way. He wants us to ask him, and he wants to answer us, and he does answer us. So a lot of times being mindful of the way that God speaks to you, and sometimes unpeace or not having peace, right? Unsettling in your spirit, just not feeling okay, feeling maybe disconnected, all those sorts of things can be God's way of saying, hey, the course you're on right now, that's not it, right? That peace that you get, the like, or the excitement of like, I love that idea is great, whatever it is. That could be God speaking to you and showing you where he wants you to go and what he wants you to do. So a lot of times when our spirit's unsettled, it's because God has actually said that's not it, and we don't want to hear it, right? We don't want to hear that it's not it, and so we say he's not answering us, when really he is. So making sure that we're mindful of not only having that quiet time with God, asking him for his direction, but listening to what he says. Because it would be like me coming up here and doing these videos and I talk, and you're like, hey, Dr. D, how can I work on this? And I'm like, hey, this is a great way to start. And I talk and you don't listen, right? You don't listen. And then you're like, well, Dr. D, why haven't you helped me? And I'm like, well, I keep talking, but you're just not listening. And so I'm not sure what else to do here. So yeah, it's the same thing, right? When we have friends and family and loved ones, we talk, and we need to be listening too, right? When they tell us things and when they talk to us. And God is the same way. He's talking. We got to make sure we're listening. And if he says no or not yet, that we accept the answer that he's given us, okay? So that's the first thing. Make sure that we get some quiet time. Make sure that we listen when he speaks. And we also need to make sure that we are willing to be uncomfortable. So a lot of times what God calls us to do is not exactly comfortable and maybe not exactly what it is that we would want to do, right? If he says in that relationship or take that job or stay in that job or move to this city or start this ministry or whatever the case may be, So for example, Come Alive was kind of rolling around in my head for years and years and years, and it was uncomfortable, right? There's a ton that goes into starting a business. There's a ton that goes into learning different things, and it just felt like that was a lot to do on top of the life that I was already living and all of that good stuff. So be ready and be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is the space that I believe it might have been Priscilla Shire, but she coined it God margin, right? So where our strength and our ability has quite a big gap to get us to where we're trying to go, that is actually where God does some of his best work in our lives. So be willing to be uncomfortable, make room for that God margin. Okay. The other thing that I want to say in terms of that is allowing God to really correct your course. So a lot of times we don't get started because we're afraid, you know what, if I get started and it's not quite right, or I don't know what I'm doing, or no one listens to my videos, or no one comes to my Instagram page, or nobody, buys my stuff that I'm selling, or whatever the case may be, then what do I do? So just get started. Put your hand to the plow, right? Put one foot in front of the other, and he'll show up for you because you're showing up to do what he asked you to do. So don't be afraid to take just massive action, and just let God fix it. Let God clean it up. Let God perfect it, because he will and he can. But a lot of times we stay stuck in that uncertainty because, okay, well, now I have this idea, but I don't know how to get started. So then I let it roll around in my head for years and years and years. And God is saying, go, do what I've asked you to do. I've given you this calling. I've given you this direction. Just go and let me help you, right? I'm your dad. I'm your daddy. I will take care of you, but you've got to go, okay? So be okay with being uncomfortable. Be okay with God margin. Be okay with just taking action and letting God course correct. And for those of you who say, you know what, that's all well and good. If you have got a direction, I don't even have a direction. I'm starting over from scratch. I'm starting a new business from scratch. I know that I'm uncomfortable, and I don't even know what God wants me to do. Okay, I don't even know where he wants me to start. So to that I say, all of those things still apply. And one of the best places to start is in God's word, right? So the two greatest commandments that Jesus said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, right? And love your neighbors as yourself. So if you're not quite sure where your direction is in life, what you should be doing, where you should be headed, start with connecting to your God and making that relationship as strong and as beautiful and as rich as you can make it. And I guarantee he's going to show up for you, and it's going to fix itself. He's going to show up and he's going to tell you exactly what he wants you to do. So run after him with everything you've got. The other thing that I would say is start with loving on other people, right? So all of us have a gift. All of us have something in us. I like to call it a God chin. I'll do a video on that next maybe for you. Actually, I will. I will. You have my word. I will do a video on your God chin. But all of us have a special gift or talent or ability, and put that to use for your neighbor. That's why you have it, okay? So if you can cook well, if you can sew well, if you can sing well, I don't care what it is, but you've got something, right? If you've got that thing, then put it to use for others. Start there, okay? So for example, I love to talk, as you may have noticed, okay? So talking is not just for me. So then if I was trying to figure out my direction, I'd say, you know what? I love to talk. How can I talk for Jesus, okay? And start there. Connect to him and let him course correct for you, because he's got you. He has got you. So for all of you who need some help with direction, I hope that these things have kind of helped to loosen you up, get you in a place where you can say, okay, at least I have a starting place. I'm ready to start to listen to God, to see what he has for me. And if you need my help in this journey, I would love to partner with you. Don't forget, take a look at the links that I've included, schedule some time with me. Let's see if we can start working on figuring out your direction together with God. If I can support you in getting you moving, getting you started in any way that I can, I'd love to. So feel free to connect with me. And I'm going to go do a video right now on your God chin so I can explain that a little better. All right. Have a good one, y'all. Remember, you've got this because God's got you, and I cannot wait to work with you.